In the heart of Lagos stood a mansion that touched the clouds. It belonged to Edward Cole, a man known across the nation as the Golden Billionaire. He had everything: cars, companies, power, and respect. But deep inside, Edward was a lonely man. His wealth filled his pockets, but never his heart. Years ago he had been betrayed by the woman he loved. She left him when his heart was pure, but his wallet was not. Since that day, he stopped believing in love. His mansion became his prison, and his silence became his comfort. Until the day Amara walked into his life. She came as a maid, young and humble, with a quiet spirit and a soft smile. Every morning she worked tirelessly, cleaning, sweeping, cooking, and never once complaining. Edward barely noticed her at first. But one morning, while walking down the stairs, he saw her wiping tears as she scrubbed the floor. He stopped. Something in her sadness pulled at him. He asked softly, "Why are you crying?" Startled, she said, "It's nothing, sir. Just dust in my eyes." But Edward had built empires by recognizing lies. He could hear pain hiding behind her words. "Tell me the truth," he said. Amara hesitated, then whispered, "My mother is sick in the village. I've been saving, but I can't afford her treatment." Edward said nothing. He took out his phone and transferred money to her account. Amara gasped when she saw the alert. "Sir, I can't accept this," she said. He smiled faintly. "It's not charity. It's humanity." That single moment changed everything. Days turned into weeks, and Edward found himself watching her from afar. The way she smiled at everyone, the gentle way she spoke to the other staff, the way she hummed quietly while she worked, it all softened something inside him. One evening, he found her arranging flowers in the hallway. He asked, "Tell me, Amara, what's your dream?" She looked up, shy but firm. "To see my brothers go to school," she said, "and to make sure they never forget where they came from." Those words pierced Edward's heart. For years he had surrounded himself with people chasing wealth, but here was a girl chasing purpose. Slowly, the mansion began to feel alive again. Edward started taking his meals in the kitchen instead of the grand dining hall. He asked Amara's opinion on small things. They laughed together, something he hadn't done in years. But when light shines, shadows grow jealous. The head housekeeper, Madame Rose, saw their closeness and whispered poison through the halls. She said Amara was using charms. She said the maid wanted to trap the boss. The rumors spread like wildfire. Soon, even Edward's business partner Victor heard of it. Victor laughed when he saw Edward. "Ed," he said, "you're losing your mind. A billionaire in love with a maid? What will people say? Don't throw your image away for a fantasy." For the first time, Edward began to doubt himself. Could a man like him love a woman like her? Could love survive judgment? Then came the night of the charity gala. The mansion was filled with music, laughter, and people wearing diamonds worth more than houses. Amara was assigned to serve drinks, nervous but graceful. As she served a glass of wine to one of the guests, her hand trembled, and the red wine spilled onto a woman's silver gown. The guest screamed, "You stupid girl! Do you know how much this dress costs?" Everyone turned. Cameras flashed. People stared. Amara froze in shame. Edward stood just a few feet away. He could have spoken. He could have defended her. But fear silenced him. Fear of what people would say. Fear of being mocked for loving a maid. He turned away. That night, Amara packed her bags and left. No goodbye, no note. Just silence. Days passed. Then weeks. Edward couldn't focus. Every room reminded him of her laughter. Every echo carried her name. He searched for her, but no one knew where she had gone. Then, one afternoon, while driving through the outskirts of the city, he saw her by the roadside selling oranges. Her clothes were old, but her spirit still shone. He stopped the car, stepped out, and walked toward her. She froze when she saw him. "You shouldn't be here, sir," she said quietly. Edward's voice broke. "Amara, I was a coward. I let the world shame you. But the truth is, I love you." She looked at him, her eyes filled with hurt. "Love doesn't humiliate," she said softly. "Love protects." Then she turned away. For the first time in years, Edward felt the weight of real heartbreak. Months passed. He stopped attending parties. He ignored meetings. Instead, he began working on something new, a scholarship fund for domestic workers' children. He named it the Amara Foundation. When reporters asked him why, he smiled sadly and said, "Because the people who serve us often have the purest hearts." One morning, as Amara washed clothes behind her small house, she heard the news on the radio. She froze. Then tears filled her eyes. Not tears of pain this time, but of forgiveness. The next day, a letter arrived. The handwriting was familiar. It read, "If you ever find it in your heart to forgive me, meet me where we first spoke, by the rose garden." The next evening, as the sun set, Amara walked to the garden near Edward's mansion. The roses were blooming again, just as they had months ago. And there, standing quietly with a single rose in his hand, was Edward. He looked at her and said, "I don't need a maid anymore. I need a partner, someone who taught me what love truly means." She smiled through her tears. "Only if you promise never to walk away again," she said. He took her hand gently. "Never." They stood there beneath the evening sky, two hearts that had been broken and healed by the power of love and forgiveness. A year later, the headlines read, "Billionaire marries former maid, dedicates fortune to helping the poor." But for Edward and Amara, it was never about headlines. It was about redemption. It was about grace. Because in the end, the richest hearts are often found in the humblest souls.